Hello everybody, my name is that Joe Guy and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. We are in the midst of a war. Honestly, now is not the best time to stop and look around and smell the roses or stop recording for a couple days just because it felt natural and I want to check recording settings. But here we are in a new session, and before we go any further, there's a couple things I want to do. First of all, very temporarily, I want to turn the music off because it's just not right for the atmosphere of the moment. Turn off the music. We can hear the stuff happening all around us, and battle is coming, and we're pushing forward. We've chosen to play it a little bit safer and push forward with the army and make a careful, sustained approach towards the rift so that they can test it out. Just, my ability appears to be one of a kind. I don't want to squander it on a risky venture, even if the rewards might be even greater. At least that's sort of what I figure what this guy here is thinking, and what I'm thinking personally here as well. But there's a few things that I want to go over before we start the session, one of which is codex entries, because the codex could potentially tell us a few things which we should have as sort of character knowledge before heading forward. Now, I looked through a couple things whilst I was between sessions, as well as running through the tutorial another couple times to get to better grips with the combat system in this and sort of the way that the characters move about. But there are certain entries which I want to read for the first time on camera. First of all, I want to talk about the Circle of Magi. Here we go. The Circle of Magi was established centuries ago to protect us, and to protect those without magic from the things we might do. No man in his right mind would disagree that these are noble goals. I refuse to believe that the Chantry intended the injustice and oppression we suffered in the intervening years. Segregation of mages from non-mages within Templar-guarded compounds was the best, possibly the only option available. We have recently had to face the stark reality that the system failed us. The Circle of Magi in Ferelden's Kinloch Hold was one of the most liberally run, and even there we saw sedition and dissent, resulting in a failed revolt that nearly destroyed the entire tower. That was in Dragon Age Origins, by the way. I would present Kirkwall's gallows as evidence against such thinking. Knight Commander Meredith's vice grip on the Circle in her care backfired, leaving us where we are now. Indeed, it did. If the Circles, no matter how they are managed, do not, perhaps cannot, function as intended, what is next? There is no easy answers. The events of recent years have forced me to re-examine my views on freedom. As Aquitarians, which I think is a school in the Circle of Magi, but I forget which one, we've always advocated self-control and cooperation with Chantry. There you go, it's the ones that do that. But this approach may no longer serve. I must consider that our libertarian brothers and sisters had the right of it all along. Look at the strife and chaos that now consumes our world. Fighting for independence, for a better system, may not improve our situation, but it cannot make it any worse. Absolutely. So here's where I think, here's where I am thinking that Markus here weighed in on that before the uprising. See, what circle was I a part of? I wonder if that's in characters by any chance. Hang on. Because we had there's Cassandra, there's Divine Justinia, there's High Chancellor Roderick, Solus, Varric, Trevelyan. I don't know who that is. Oh, is that me? Here we go. Is this me? Oh, okay, I think this is about me, so let's have a read of this. The Trevelyans are nobility from Ostwick, a city... See, I thought my surname was Ostwick. Am I Markus Trevelyan? Maybe. A city-state on the southern coast of the Free Marches, it is an old and distinguished family in good standing among their peers and with strong ties to the Chantry. Its youngest son and daughters, those third or fourth born children with little chance of becoming heirs, often join the Chantry to become Templars or clerics. As a mage, however, Lord Markus Trevelyan was expected to spend his life in the Ostwick Circle of Magi. That's interesting. Markus Trevelyan. This is who we are. A sedate place, the Ostwick Circle did not decide in favour of either Templars or mages, clinging to neutrality during the rebellion. Markus was chosen as a delegate to the Conclave in the hopes that his noble position would provide protection for his fellow mages while negotiations continued. Trevelyan was the only survivor of the explosion that rocked the Temple of the Sacred Ashes. Rumours that the mysterious mark on his hand as a sign of the Maker's favour were spread by those who claimed they saw the divine prophet, Andraste herself lead Lord Markus out of the Fade. See, that occurred to me as an option, as well as like a couple of other options that could potentially be, as well as like potentially just like a straight out spirit, an embodiment of some concept which is unknown to us right now. And Ostwick remained neutral, this kind of allowing me to make up my mind on where I stood with the whole thing. I think generally speaking, Circle in the young age, born sort of lord, I think, you know, sense of duty and, like, duty to the people at self-sacrifice maybe was in there, and I think for the most part Markus cooperated with the Circle as it was, as long as he wasn't taking the piss too much. And then when neutrality failed, when the uprising begun, I think he started to take, this is all sort of formulative, and I've just been thinking about this, he may have started to, like, consider his position as, like, an option, whereas before it was always just it was an obligation at this point. But I think more than anything else, he wanted to keep the peace as much as possible, trying to find the compromise, and that was why the Conclave, I think he was pretty invested in that. I think he was going to go there going, I can actually make a difference here. Like, he was no tag-along, he was, I can do it, which explains why when this happened, Markus was so quick to say, I understand that this is important, I will help how I can, because that's just how he is. He's got this sense of, like, I'm able to, like, work hard and sacrifice for the greater good, as long as I can, like, see it in front of me. So there's that side of things. And now, after all this, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. So let's continue reading in the Codex. Let's read about Cassandra Pentaghast. I think my guy's opinion on her so far is, like, I don't think he's particularly anti-Chantry, and Cassandra seems earnest in the meantime, so Markus, you know, I think is seeking to cooperate as much as possible. Nothing against Cassandra, simply because she's part of the Chantry. She does seem like a good person so far, if, you know, kind of battle-scarred and cynical in that way. 1 second. Ugh, excuse me, I'm a little dry-throated today. Alright, Lord Seeker Lucius. So she's a Seeker. She's not necessarily an Inquisitor or part of the Inquisition, she's just a Seeker. I am fully aware of the intent behind your predecessor's declaration. Lord Seeker Lambert pried the Templars away from Chantry control and led them into an assault upon all mages for reasons you both find justified. I, however, am uncertain when the Seekers of Truth went from guarding against injustice to perpetrating it. If you truly believe that is not the case, I suggest you look out a window at the chaos this war has caused, and ask yourself if Thedas will recover even if you are victorious. I remain at Divine Justinia's right hand, and will stay there even if you brand me traitor. I am sorry, but there is too much at stake to swerve from the path we willingly followed at the Chantry's foundation. So that's a letter to the Lord Seeker. Yeah. So Lambert pried the Seekers from Chantry control and started this rite of annulment, I suppose you could call it. Well, I suppose they do call it. Then Lucius took the place, and then Cassandra is responding to maybe like a call to arms from her, just saying, hey, you've got to help us track down these mages. And she was like, no, I am Justinia's right hand. And then when Justinia took an interest in the Conclave itself, that's why she's here, and now Justinia is dead. This maybe explains the emotional state we found her in. She and presumably Liliana worked quite closely with Justinia. Speak of the devil, Divine Justinia V rose to power after the death of Divine Beatrix III in year 934 of the Dragon Age. I think that might have been like around the start of Origins. Yeah, no good with dates. Little is known of Dorothea's background before she joined the Chantry as an initiate, but she proved to be a liberal and daring thinker, willing to take a formal bard and lay sister Liliana as a close advisor. A headstrong devotion to her own agenda and rumoured support of the Mage Rebellion earned her no small dislike from the powerful priests long used to controlling access to the divine. In the year 940 of the Dragon Age, Divine Justinia called a summit, so I guess this is now, intending to negotiate a truce between the Mage Rebellion and the Templar sprint from the Chantry God. This was so our choice, our chance. Although I want to talk about that a little bit as well. We have we had this conclave, and then something magical happened, but it doesn't look like, it does not look like well, not really. It doesn't look like they're blaming mages for the most part. It more seems like they don't know what the hell is happening. If anything, they're blaming me, and the fact that I'm a mage may actually like work against the mages in this conflict. But this cataclysm potentially represents a chance for the mages and Templars to work together to try and solve this. This could prove the end of the war if it doesn't prove to actually be the end of the world. The Divine Conclave was held at the Temple of Sacred Ashes. So we are in Frostbat Mountains, by the way, in Ferelden, near Haven, which is a town which featured in Dragon Age Origins. A cult was living there, I believe. The most holy place in Thedas before a resolution could be reached. A cataclysmic explosion destroyed the Conclave, consumed the temple, rent the sky, and shattered the world's hopes for peace. Divine Justinia V perished in the Temple of Sacred Ashes. The Chantry flounders, leaderless in the wake of her death, and its fate grows increasingly uncertain. If order is not restored to Thedas, Justinia V might be remembered as the Chantry's final divine. And here's High Chancellor Roderick, who, we get to show these images, which is interesting. She looks severe. That looks like her. That's Varric down there, and there's me. Ah, is my house symbol a horse? I'm good with that. Anyway, this feck. Chantry. Beyond the lowest rank of scholarly brothers and those who take their place amongst the Templars, it is not true. What? Beyond the lowest rank of scholarly brothers and those who take their place among the Templars. Oh, I'm scrolled down. There are some who claim men have no place in the Chantry. Beyond the lowest rank of scholarly brothers and those who take the place amongst the Templars. It is not true. This is an organisation spanning 7 nations from the smallest village Chantry to the Grand Cathedral in Val Royeaux. It takes more than sermons to keep it alive. There is an invisible army at work ensuring meals are delivered, bureaucracy. Repairs are made and faithful attended to, and much of it done by Chantry brothers like myself. The position of High Chancellor places a man beside the most holy. I control who is permitted audience, handle her correspondence, deliver her word to Thedas, and service her advisor on matters which may be mundane, but cannot be disregarded. If I have influence, let it be said, it is something I use sparingly, if at all. This is a task to which I devote myself with solemnity. I and my fellows bear the burden, so that others are free to guide the spirits of Thedas unencumbered. Yeah. So this I actually agree with. Like, admin is really important. A lot of things which are more flashy and more dramatic could not happen without it. However, what I take issue is to this guy's insistence on the immediate execution of me, my assumed guilt, whereas actually I may be the person who is able to actually solve this, or at least I'm part of it, which should be researched. And he was going to cart me away to some place to have me executed as, at best, a martyr or a scapegoat. That's far too rash, and so I'm instantly taking a dislike to this guy. Good job, bros. Like, you're meant to be measured and shit like that, but maybe you're sad as well, but honestly I don't care. Get off my back. Anyway, we actually still have more codex entries to read through. I know we've been at this for like 15 minutes so far, but I hope you guys are okay with this. We sort of want to get through this as much as we can. There's a couple things in here about creatures and... Oh, hang on. We need to read about Varric. Here we... Who's this? Solus, yes, Cassandra. I understand our first order of business must be to investigate this bizarre breach in the sky and protect people from the demons descending. While my search continues, I wish to draw your attention to a new arrival at our camp, an elven apostate calling himself Solus. Solus entered the camp voluntarily, surrendering his staff to Chantry forces without protest. He is not Dalish and says that he has never been part of the Circle, claiming instead to have studied magic peacefully on his own, particularly magic tied to the Fade. While I suspect he will be reluctant to accept the help of an apostate, Solus did come to us freely. Witnesses saw him in a nearby village at the time of the blast, so he was likely not responsible for what happened in the Conclave. However, he has described the effects of the breach in enough detail to convince me that he knows more about the Fade than anyone else present. Solus has requested permission to study the lone survivor on one of the smaller rifts in hopes of finding a way to seal the breach. He's correctly guessed that it is growing and believes it will destroy the entire world unless we find a way to stop it. Unless you object, I will allow him his studies under proper observation from Liliana. Solus is somebody, is interesting so far. He's I think, I do find that commendable, and I think Markus does as well. The whole putting aside previous concerns in the wake of this new impending disaster is an attitude which I actually find very, very relatable to that. And I think the fact that he's an apostate is like interesting to Markus, but not necessarily like worthy of making a judgment one way or another. I guess he's withholding judgment at the moment. Varric Tethra to the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Oh, this is quite a short one, I think. No, it started me scrolled down as well. There's power in stories, that's all history is. The best tales, the ones that last, might as well be mine. Varric Tethra to the Dwarven Merchants Guild of Kirkwall is famous or infamous for two things: his books and his association with the champion of Kirkwall. After the Templars and Circles broke away from... Oh, was that his book in Dragon Age Origins that Cassandra stabbed? Interesting. I guess so. After the Templars and Circles broke away from the Chantry, Divine Justinia V sent her agents to Kirkwall, where the roots of the war began. In search of answers, the champion had long since disappeared, but... well, that's not the same sentence, but Varric had written a book on his friend's involvement in the destruction of the Kirkwall Chantry, and the left and right hands of the Divine located him with surprising ease. They captured and interrogated him, then brought him to the Conclave to give his testimony to the Divine in person, but fate decreed that he would never meet her. Yeah. Okay. Onwards, I don't really have much to say about Varric at the moment. I think he's just... Markus is just quirking a smile in his direction. He's a rogue, you know, he doesn't seem like a necessarily overly complicated guy. He's friendly enough, so feck it. In groups as that, characters, I wanted to read about the Conclave, and I wanted to read about the Breach. Here we go. It has been a year of little more than chaos. Yes, the mages voted to dissolve the Circle of Magi, but I will point out this vote came only after increased restrictions were placed on them following the unfortunate events in Kirkwall. What other choice did they have? Yes, the Templar Order abandoned their duties and elected to pursue the mages to bring them back in line, but after 1,000 years in which their sole role was the mages' keepers, what else could one expect? They envisioned the war over quickly, a single battle that would see the mages' resolve crumble, after which they would meekly return to confinement. That did not happen. This conflict could drag on forever, with advantage on neither side. Both Templars and mages see this, and thus they have agreed to come to the Conclave. This is our chance. Words need to be said which have not been said. A compromise must be reached because there is no other choice. I believe this with all my heart. I am not without fault in all this. Perhaps I pushed too hard for reform, or not hard enough. The Maker has seen fit to give me another chance. I will not squander it. The Templar of Sacred Ashes is where together we will make history, and with luck, we will be remembered kindly for it. So, yeah, flavour, but not much in the way of news. Was certainly a chance, which is unfortunately just gone a bit to waste. You know, I gotta wonder, how do they categorize this thing? Why is this 46? It's right at the beginning of the game. Is this in alphabetical order? As in T for the? I find that hard to believe. There's a reason or a rhyme to it somewhere, I suppose. Anyway, I want to read it about the Breach itself. Is this under magic? Here we go. What does it mean to pierce the veil? That which separates our world from the realm of dreams and demons. For the average man and woman, it is a frightening thought to consider just how fragile this separation actually is. The veil is not a physical curtain, not a structure limited to a particular place. It is everywhere. It is in their home, in the streets where they walk, in farmers' fields as well as remote mountain vales. At any moment it could be torn to shreds, allowing demons and other horrors to flood into our world like water through a burst dam. Known lore tells us that small rifts can be sealed, but what about a large one? What if some catastrophic magical event created a rift so large and horrific it weakened the integrity of the veil as a whole? Such a breach would threaten our entire world, turning concerns about occasional demonic intrusion into a charming anecdote compared to the monsters we would then face. If there is anything to be done, any reason we should look at magic with fear, it is for that possibility more than any other. The true threat of magic. The true threat of magic. If you can think of it, then it could happen. Well, let's better deal with it then. I suppose we better get on our way. Thanks for allowing me to take the time to do that. I think it was definitely worth doing. A lot of that is helping clear up my own thoughts about this as well. Who my character is, what their stake in all this is, what's going on at the moment, context. All going to be really helpful, and I should be able to make decisions for my character a little more quickly in the future because of it. Anyway, let's push forward with the army and turn the music back on. Music, music, music. Trying out some new audio settings. Whoops. Hopefully this will be balanced a little better than it was in the last session. What's up here? Some loot. Some gold, stiletto, a dagger, and a griffin shield. You know, we did give Cassandra a mace, but maybe this griffin shield is good for you as well. So you're wearing the Inquisition shield. Not to break your shtick or anything, Cassandra, but I think... let's leave you with the Inquisition shield, actually. Wow, it's kind of baller. What's the other one look like? Oh, it's the same. Inquisition shield down here. Ah, it's that. Griffin shield. You know, Griffin shield looks pretty cool. Let's do that. Righteous. Very shiny. So this is the forward camp. There's not much in the way of people to speak to at the moment. And there's still no highlight button, so I don't know if I'm missing any NPCs to talk to or anything. I can only really search for loot. Oh shit, rift. I've learned a little bit more about these sorts of effects that I can employ. For example, let's have a look around the field. You got something over there, but no current things which are not being attacked. I thought he looked familiar for a second. He didn't. He's just wearing my old clothes. I have chain lightning, which can arc. I have this, which panics people. If they're unattacked, then they will potentially just not attack anybody themselves whilst they are panicking. Maybe that was a combo. I do not know. Can I attack him? Everybody else attack this target. Where were you guys on that one?
Be wary. Another Fade Rift.
I'll see it. I'll see it. I'll do. I'm gonna get a barrier on myself. Use the... There's an area of effect? I thought it was just meant to be on me. Well, I better plant myself then. Yeah, so anybody standing in this area is benefiting from my barrier, but I think it's still only got a limited amount of health. Magic-wise, I'm doing okay, but I should probably deal with this thing.
How many rift
I can't interact with it.
are there? We must seal it if we are to get past. Quick!
That's a stupid and irrelevant question. A lesser terror? What the bloody hell am I even looking at? Again, let's have a look around. I just want to make absolutely sure. Now we've got it. Cool, I'm liking this. I'm starting to get used to this. So you're both being attacked, so flash fires are really going to help too much, but let's just start attacking people. How are the guys doing back there? There's Solus looking okay. Barracks back there. Okay, cool. Go. Hello? Can I please try and close the rift? So there's demons still up and about, right? Just this one. Which is a what? It's another lesser terror. Just fucking... I think I... Oh, no, it just keeps summoning stuff. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay, go. Close it now. There we go. Haha.
Sealed, as before. You are becoming quite proficient at this.
Let's hope it works on the big one.
Lady Cassandra, you managed to close the rift. Well done.
Who's this?
Do not congratulate me, Commander. This is the prisoners' doing.
Is it? I hope they're right about you. We've lost a lot of people getting you here.
I'm your only hope. I'll do what I can.
I can't promise anything, but I'll try my best.
That's all we can ask. The way to the temple should be clear. Liliana will try to meet you there.
Then we'd best move quickly. Give us time, Commander.
Make her watch over you, for all our sakes.
Commander whom? The hell? What is that? Worth investigating, really? Who are these people?
The Temple of Sacred Ashes. What's left of it?
That is where you walked out of the Fade, and our soldiers found you. They say a woman was in the rift behind you. No one knows who she was.
Right, yeah, right here, right? Maybe. Got some stone infused with magic here. These were people who attended the Conclave. You know, I know one went with the stoic option earlier, but I think I might be a bit more tied to this situation than that. I think given another chance I might go for the emotional option. Maybe. Like, Mind on the Master is all very well and good, but that may have been partially just like, oh hell, what now? Like, I'm captured by the Chantry, so like my number may have been up. Plus, the Conclave was destroyed. It was just like, what's the next step in the end of the world? Ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. Ooh, it's Big Daddy.
The breach is a long way up.
You're here. Thank the Maker.